everybody. Dan Illman and Mike Beer, the DRF race of the day, Thursday, February the 22nd, 222, race number 8 at Gulfstream Park. We're going a one-turn mile on the main track. First level allowance, $25,000 claiming option. Let's take a peek at this field. Interesting horse down on the inside. The number 1, Abundancia, Group 2 winner in Peru. The last time she ran on dirt, they threw her into a tough spot in her North American debut, the Valley View on turf. It didn't work out, but she's back to dirt and she gets the Lasix and blinkers makeover.
Right, yeah, and more than anything else, just a way better spot for her, it would seem anyway, Dad. I mean, there's an argument to be made that dirt is her surface anyway.
Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector for this race. Steel Racer, the number 2, has shown some tactical speed, but stretching out from 6 to a mile. I would expect this horse to get forward under Tyler Gaffalione. And you know, the number 4, Sense You Left, just has that tactical speed to work out any trip Johnny V wants.
Yeah, true. And if this pace is slow, then I would expect the 4 to be on the early lead in here, Dan. We'll see how they decide to play it in this race. Either way, the 4 is going forward. Whether he has to sit off the 2 or not, we'll see.
In Peru, Abundancia, daughter of Kentucky Derby and Preakness winner California Chrome, won at distances on dirt ranging from 6 furlongs to this race, 1.5 miles, a Group 2 last summer, and looks like this one's got some speed.
Yeah, I mean, listen, my takeaway from this race, and feel free to disagree, Dan, didn't look like she really wanted the 1.5 miles here, but she was absolutely loose all the way around the track. They did not challenge her on the lead. I suspect maybe they thought she was going to come back to them, and she does not. She manages to hold on. I think the shorter distance here, the one-turn mile, probably better for this filly.
I tend to agree. She's going to have to turn back to a mile, but she has the speed, it looks like, that she should be able to stay up close to the pace. We know Javier usually does the right things in this circumstance. 6-1 based on what she did over there seems fair against this field. The 2 is Steel Racer. They cut her back to a sprint last time out, and she got sort of held up behind a slow and moderate pace. She's in behind horses right now. She's the gray, and she's going to angle to the outside. She'll finish an even third. Her prior races going longer, to me, indicate this is what she wants, going a mile.
Probably. I mean, I don't know what her best distance is. All I can say from the races of hers that I watched, Dan, is I'm not sure that she's that good. And as the morning line favorite, I'd probably be looking elsewhere in this race, but stretching out to the miles, fine. I think what she has going for her more than anything else, she won the one-turn mile 3 back. That felt like the right spot for her. She got a good trip and she won. Her last 2 starts, Goddess of Fire, American Rocket, the horses that won those 2 races, way better than the horses she's running against here.
No, this is a big class drop for Steel Racer, who does have the speed to get close to a moderate pace. Great analogy. Happy Altar, legendary horseman in South Florida. He's still kicking. He took Lasix off with Great Analogy, and Great Analogy was kicking in the stretch. On the outside is Great Analogy. 4 deep turning for home, going to grind this thing out against Florida breds.
Yeah, she doesn't, she's not finishing super strong in this race, but she's going to be able to forge down the outside here and get the job done. Not a bad performance at all, Dan. She doesn't have a lot of early speed, so we'll see how this race sets up for her. It feels like she could be compromised by the dynamics.
Mark Cassie off the claim. You don't see it too often. The 4, Sense You Left, did it last time out, running 3rd at Tampa Bay, going 2 turns after being taken by Cassie for $30,000 at Woodbine. Got to look at this, Mike, in mid-stretch.
Yeah, she's got every chance here. She just can't fight her way past Chem Major here. And this is after Sense You Left. A good 4 wide around the first turn, 3-4 wide around the second turn. She's up there the entire way. She just can't get by here. It's not a bad performance, especially when you consider the Chem Major. 3 of her last 4 victories, a nose away from being 4 for 5 since they stretched her out in distance. So she caught a relatively hot horse there. I thought she ran fine. She's got good speed. The one-turn mile feels like it's really going to work for her. But there was plenty to like with this filly.
She's just going to get a better trip in this race, yeah, Mike, because, again, as you mentioned, she was wide. And look at those fractions. 25, and she had to lose ground on both turns and was still slugging it out. She didn't hang in that race. She just got beat by a nice horse. She's won 8 times, and I just think she's getting a better trip. Wouldn't be surprised if she's the favorite at post time. It's possible she's the horse to beat. Mama Maria is up next, and this horse is going to show some tactical speed as well, stretching out to the mile for the first time. She was in at Tampa last time out against arguably better second level allowance horses, and it was a race where she caught a horse, the third place finisher, who would come back with a 75 buyer scoring at that level.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that was a tougher race. So maybe she's just a better fit here, and she's got a couple of figures from last summer that I guess suggest she's going to be competitive in here. I don't love her form overall. I do think she could get the right trip in this race, though.
The 6 and the 7 have things to prove because they're non-winners of 2 Life eligible, stepping up to face multiple winners. Rita's on the Beach got a perfect trip in her last race at Tampa Bay. She sat in the pocket behind a slow pace, eased to the outside in the 2 path, and gets by to beat 2 next out winners. While she did get a good trip, Mike, she also kind of fired in the stretch, and I still think there's more to come for this daughter of Sky Kingdom. She's only run 6 times.
I agree with all that. I mean, at first glance, I watched the race. I'm like, all right, she gets a perfect trip and she wins. Who cares? I still think she beat a decent field here, and I like the way that she did it. And it just feels like she keeps getting better every time she goes out there. I wonder what kind of trip she gets here, Dan. I mean, she set a great one in that race. Her prior starts, sort of getting outrun early in those races. That's not going to work here.
That's a concern turning back to this one-turn mile. Timeform US has her well off of the pace. And again, if this race favors front runners, it could work against her. Miss Ukraine is on a long losing streak. She's 1 for 16. It's hard to project a lot of upside. Her last race, she just didn't fire her best shot. She's got to do a lot more.
Yeah, she was in that Goddess of Fire race last time, so she probably had no chance anyway, but it would be nice to see her pick up her feet in that race. And the prior effort, which was a good one, was on a sloppy track against 2 Life Claimers.
Before we take a look at our top selections, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for the latest DRF videos. Top pick time, race 8 Gulfstream on Thursday, the DRF race of the day. You're going with Sense You Left. Why not? This horse is an 8-time winner with good tactical speed, top connections, and if you get her at the second choice, that's very fair.
Yeah, I just didn't really like anyone else in this race. I thought there was a good trip coming for her again, and I think her speed really plays in here.
I expect the 2 favorites, the 4 and the 2, to run well. I wonder if Rita's on the Beach has one more forward move in there. She's going to have to show it because, again, this is a double jump up in class for her. I need more than 4 to 1. 4-6-5-1 for Mike, 6-2-4-5 for me. Thursday race of the day at Gulfstream Park. Good luck.